All of it because the local library will only let me check out 40 items at a time. That's right, we basically use the whole library, except for the erotica novels. We don't use those. Well, I mean, like, someday we'll probably learn about... Whew, did you guys see that rabbit run down that trail? Whew. So as many of you have figured out, we like to dip our feet in the unschooling pool of learning. That obviously doesn't mean we don't use curriculum. Our online and virtual resources kind of go hand in hand with our curriculum, but that's going to be on a completely different video because I use a lot of online things. But for today, I show you what I use to teach my kids. Let's recap. Unschooling is an educational method and philosophy that advocates learner-chosen activities as a primary means for learning. While often considered a subset of homeschooling, unschoolers may be as philosophically separate from other homeschoolers as they are from advocates of conventional schooling. I promise you guys this is not going to be an unschooling video. I just want to kind of explain to you guys how we teach our kids so you can understand my methods as we go through these books. An amazing picture of the difference between traditional schooling and unschooling. As you can see, learning by subjects versus learning by interests that cross many subjects. So I feel like in this sort of way is huge for our family. We do dabble a lot in different sort of areas, so I feel like a lot of our subjects in school actually combine and they partake in the same moment. Knowledge is given by teacher to the student, and we like to go more towards knowledge is acquired by the student and supervised by a parent or teacher. We dabble a little bit in that, maybe not as extreme as some unschoolers. My kids are still young enough to want to ask me questions and want to be taught by mom, but it's not me standing up in the front of a classroom giving them information that they need to memorize and know by the next day. It is a child learning and understanding the value of what they're reading or writing all by themselves. Goals set by teacher, goals set by the student. This is huge in our family. I ask my kids to tell me, what are your goals for the day? What are your goals for the week? What are your goals for this year? And allowing the kids to put goals for themselves and then achieve those if they're set by themselves, not by somebody else. Helps a child be self-motivated and grow into an adult who is able to be a self-motivator. The next one is specific curriculum and textbooks. And unschooling resources come from books, parents, siblings, internet, outdoors, museums, life experiences. We are 100% this. Yes, we have curriculum. Yes, we have textbooks, but our resources come from anything and everything that life has to offer. Again, traditional schooling, specific time set for learning to occur, and in unschooling, learning happens constantly, all hours, year round. This is so true. After about a year of unschooling, we have very much founded ourselves in learning all year round, all day long. In every instance, there is a chance for learning. We are not radical unschoolers, which is realistically just allowing kids to run free in every aspect of their life. Although we give our kids a lot of independent choices to make, I still feel it's my job to funnel and guide their interests along the way and kind of push them down the right path. As far as like school and textbooks in our home, it's just an option of learning in our home. And because I offer that, I have built a love for learning within my children. It's not a fight, it's just life learning. So what I have right here may not be something that we do every day. Not true. We don't do any of this every single day, but every day we are doing something, and they are learning and they are loving, and I am proud. We're in our second year of this. I'm just beside myself with the progress, the happiness, and the dedication that comes from my kids. This is what I was made to do, and I absolutely love living this journey with my kids. If I showed you all my stuff, you would be here all day. So I'm just gonna show you my favorite jewels, and I'll link everything down below if you're interested. I need to organize this just a little bit. Okay, so this was all organized by like each kid, not by what they do. So these are just the kids' sketchbooks. These happen every single day, sometimes even on Saturdays and Sundays, because if you're an unschooler, you don't take Saturday and Sunday off. The kids love these. They will sketch front, back, in the middle, wherever they want to. They sketch anything that they want. This is not specific to any subject. A perfect way to funnel imagination and creativity, especially at this age. So I've shown these in videos before. The kids are still working on these because I don't require them to work on them every single day. If it's something that they want to do, they're allowed to do that. When the kids finish these books completely, then we're gonna go do something. The kids also have their fun schooling journals. I've showed these before as well. Again, not something that's done every day. It's pretty much to the kids, up to the kids when they want to do them. I don't really care as long as they're learning. So something great and amazing happened at the beginning of this year. I actually had a local homeschooler friend decide not to homeschool, and she then gave us all of her Abeka readers. Now, we aren't big in the Abeka curriculum. It just doesn't work for our family, it doesn't work for our kids, but she gave us all the readers. Now, the readers are phenomenal because the stories are only about 3 to 7 pages long, and then the kids can answer questions at the end. And I love that because it's like reading comprehension. A lot of times with little kids, like when I give Lexi has a hard time focusing sometimes. So if I give her a big chapter book, it's overwhelming for her. So it's a quick little fun story, usually has a moral attached to it. What's the #1 thing in unschooling? I promise you every unschooler would say read. So I got these cute little geography books on Amazon. They were $2. I got them for Silas and Lexi, and they actually haven't started them yet because I haven't really offered them, because once they do, I'm in for a gazillion questions and I wasn't just prepared for that yet. Color all about the country, all of this information about the country. It has the flag, and I know as soon as they start this, like the outpour of extracurricular desire to learn from this is gonna be immense. So I just haven't given these to them yet because I need to prepare myself for that. I may actually have them go one country at a time together because I know that they're gonna have just so many questions. They're gonna wanna learn about Argentina. They're gonna wanna know everything that has already been stated here. I'm gonna have to find videos. I'm gonna have to find extra online resources and then start it completely again when we go to Australia. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. These are pretty special because these are me and the kids' journals. We communicate throughout these journals. I mean, we're with each other all day, every day, and we talk all the time. But this is kind of just something special between mommy and them. And so I'll write them and they'll write me back, and then I'll write them and they'll write me back, and you know, go back and forth. And it's just something special for us to keep for forever, and just an awesome way to communicate with your kids when you have a large family. Communicate with me on a more deeper level, even though I feel like we have an amazing relationship, emotional way to connect with them, and I just love that we're able to do this. It's a super special part of our day. I never thought that I would get to the point where I was buying ACE paces. Okay, I'm gonna be the first one to admit it was the farthest thing from my mind. We kind of dabbled into Horizons curriculum last year for both English and math, and as that worked really well for Casey, it wasn't working too well for my younger kids. And I don't really know what the turnoff was. I mean, I have my own issues with Horizons curriculum, but I don't know really what it was with my kids. They just didn't like it, and I didn't want to force them to do it because it was kind of monotonous and it was kind of boring, and it was to a point where I was like, come on, you guys, you really need to do your math book. And they were like crying. So I sat down at the computer and I said, you guys, we really need to find a really good math and a really good English that you guys can dabble in. Some of our online resources, the kids have gone through all of the grades. Like, a lot of them go until 6th grade, and the kids have already gone through all of the grades and finished. Oh my gosh, I have so much to keep up with these kids. Sat down at the computer and we just started going through curriculum. I'm like, what books do you guys like? Here, let me explain this one. I was reading descriptions to them, and here's my adorable 7 and 8-year-old kids sitting with me at the computer looking at curriculum. And I know that, you know what, there's a lot of parents that don't do that, and I am not dogging you for that, but it was like a surreal moment sitting down and saying, what do you guys feel would be the best way to learn? All 3 of them separately chose to do ACE paces. Mom, we love this idea. To do a little tiny booklet and to get us start a new one like every week was exciting to them. They liked the inside of it. They liked that there was a little guy to kind of teach them. And to me, as I started thinking about it, I got, you know what? I am teaching 3 grades at one time. And although we combine a ton of our learning, they all still are at 3 different grade levels. And I thought, this is perfect. It is a Self-paced. What am I trying to teach my kids? Independent, self-motivating. Why didn't I think of this before? So I did not buy the whole pack. I said, I'll tell you what, guys. I will buy you all the very first pace in English, word building, and math. And you guys can just see after the first pace if you love it. We started these paces and I was like, okay, you guys, like, gotta start dinner. What do you guys wanna do? You wanna go outside and play? Do you wanna go downstairs and play? Are you guys gonna watch a movie? Like, what do you guys wanna do? And the girls were like, Mom, can we keep working in our paces? We love our paces. I'm sitting over here dogging on ACE paces like my kids aren't gonna like them, and they're over here completing a pace in like 4 days. I got schooled by my own kids, and that's okay. Right now they have their English, their math, and a word building pace. They couldn't be happier. So these are their history journals that they made themselves. They're just composition notebooks, and then we took brown paper bags and crinkled them all up and then wrote with charcoal on the front of them. The kids use these for their history, and I'll show you what we use for history right after I show you this. Journal about their experience. So each one of them created a character, they created an age, they created an occupation, and what they do is as we learn history, they take their character and they walk through life the same way that whatever we're learning about is happening. Right now we're going through like the earliest time period as nomads walking through the world. They're writing about that. They're capturing that experience from the view of the character that they created. Let me show you guys. I'm gonna jump down here because I think it's at the very bottom of this stack, of course. This is the history that I chose, and I think that this will always be the history that I choose. Story of the World, I think there's 4 different volumes. We're going through volume 1. This is the activity book. This is the actual history book. Read to them the history part of it. Super tortoise slow. Within the activity part of it, there is so much extra meat. This is where we'll theme our library books. They have review questions, they have narration exercises, they have craft projects, they have additional history reading, they have map work, they have coloring pages. In the back, they have student pages that the kids can do to collate with what we're learning about. Also, on top of that, we're watching movies that kind of coincide with this. That's my little extra part. And so as the kids are young and they're learning and they're so eager to grasp a hold of history, we're going super slow. The lady who wrote this is definitely part of like classical education. Being an unschooler, I put my own swing on things. I love it. I mean, it couldn't be more perfect to exactly how I want to teach my kids history. School is not a checklist for me. Okay, 3 o'clock, did we get everything done for the day? Heck no. Okay, this is our life, and I feel like this is probably one of my most favorite things about our day is going through this history and letting the kids ask questions. This is just kind of extra. This is kind of like a little bit of a science curriculum, and people say homeschoolers don't socialize. They are socializing with the mailman right now. I have showed you guys before my nature books that we use. The Nature Connection is an awesome book. It actually goes month by month. It takes you about the whole month to go through, especially if you're going out in nature and doing the activities that they want you to do. You can actually print off extra pages on their website, which is awesome, especially when you're homeschooling extra kids. But this, of course, is my favorite part of homeschool altogether. It's my favorite book ever. If I could ever promote a book all the way, it would be this one, Nature Anatomy. And my new thought on this is my new thing, and I haven't started it yet, but I think I'm going to, because we love this book so much, okay? And I've done so many different videos about this book. I think I'm gonna get the kids each their own book because I want them to start journaling in them. So when we come across these leaves or these trees, the kids can start making little notes. And throughout the years, as we use this book, they can utilize their notes. Allow the kids to all have their own book, because a lot of times we're all bent over this one book while we're out and about, and it really doesn't work very well. I think I want the kids to have their own books, and I want them to journal in them. So as years to come, you know, they can be in 11th grade and be like, remember that time? They can look at their notes. Okay, if you're a homeschooler, if you're an unschooler, if you're a mom of a toddler, I don't really even care. You guys need to go get this book. I would not stray you from the truth. I want you guys to go get this book. I just do. I mean, just take the extra money and the extra time and go get this book, because it is a phenomenal choice when it comes to teaching your kids nature and just having it at your fingertips at all times. Paddle to the Sea, it's part of our morning basket. If you haven't seen my morning basket, you guys can check it out for September. And then, not that you guys need any introduction to flashcards, but they're my best friend. That's it for today. Thank you so much for coming along. I hope I answered some of the questions. And like I've said before, and I'm gonna say it every single homeschool video, every single unschool video, what works for my family may not work for yours, and that's okay. Let's still be friends. Honestly, comment down below what kind of schooler you are. Are you a public schooler, private schooler, homeschooler, unschooler, radical unschooler? I don't think I So remember, like, comment, share, subscribe. I don't really care. I feel like this is my dad's way of kind of getting back at me from heaven because I totally cheated my way through high school. So now I'm kind of having to retake everything longer, more intense, and with a purpose. Touche, Dad. Touche.